Good evening, Chef Migo and Chef Nancy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And uh, ha- so, welcome to the culinary story of Chef Migo Razon. He's
Thank you.
live streaming directly from Melbourne, Australia,
Yes.
Yeah, thank
and
you. Thank you.
Adobo Queen,
Hello.
live streaming directly from Houston, Texas. And please join us. We want to get to know about the story of Chef Migo Razon,
In
the creator.
Australia.
Oh, the creator of Apoy Pizza and a lot of things. No? He's the executive chef of Sheraton, Melbourne, and a graduate of CCA Manila, one of
Yes.
the millennial chefs that we are proud of, Filipino chef. And please join us. This is Awesome Life with Anton Diaz and Nancy Lumen Reyes. This is a series that we're calling In Search of the Filipino Culinary DNA. And please join us this morning. Can you do a short film? All right, Chef Migo. Maybe for the people watching, can you do a short introduction about your culinary journey to
Okay.
Melbourne, Australia?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and most especially Chef Tito Nancy and Anton for having me here. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here. Yeah. So basically, I started off in CCA, graduated 2004. Um, my first job was in Kai Neo Japanese restaurant.
Mm.
So thanks to Chef Gilbert for hiring me. So and then after that, I
Oh, maraming
actually
chefs galing dyan eh, no?
yes,
Sa
Yeah.
yes.
maraming
Uh,
magagaling na chefs.
I hope he's
uh,
listening.
yeah, hopefully. And so after that, I was hired as the executive chef of K3 restaurant. So K3 restaurant, as you know, was one of the pioneers of fusing Filipino food with other cuisines like um, predominantly Thai cuisine, because one of the owners, si Sir Al, was actually a lover of Thai food. So that was the direction of that restaurant, and I was privileged enough to be part of the growth of that restaurant.
Um,
It's sorry,
what is the
Purganan, Al Purganan.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it started off with the West Avenue branch, and then
Mm.
um, when I came in, we started opening MOA, the Mall of Asia branch, and then um, it blossomed into 5 different branches. So then after that, I did a few side hustles. I was um, a consultant for then Club Noah in Palawan.
Mm.
Oh. And then, I guess my biggest break came 2011 when I was privileged enough to be able to move and work in Australia. So in Australia, I started off in a regional town or a city called Townsville in far north Queensland. I stayed there for about 4 years and then moved to um, New South Wales, of a regional city or a town called Coffs Harbour. I worked for a golf resort. So that golf resort is actually the top 10 in New South Wales, or top 47 in the whole of Australia. So
Wow.
it's very beautiful place. The food that we do there is very good. It's quite fine dining. So I've learned a lot from Chef Darren Ryan. Um, and that hotel group actually bought another resort in Coffs Harbor, and I was um, privileged to be asked to be the head chef of that resort.
Wow.
Stayed there for I stayed there for a year or so, and then I'm a city boy at heart. I was born and raised in Manila, in Makati in particular. So I missed the big hustle and bustle of the city. So I've decided to try my luck and apply for an executive chef position in Melbourne for DoubleTree by Hilton.
Mm.
So, yeah, 2019, officially February of 2019, I moved to Melbourne and was the executive chef of DoubleTree by Hilton
Mhm.
until the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people were affected by this pandemic, or are still being affected by this pandemic. So yeah, unfortunately, I had to um, leave that role because of that. The breadwinner of my family, so I needed to be able to raise them and feed them. So um, I did a few casual work, and then that was the moment where I actually created Apoy. Was during the
Yun.
pandemic.
Okay.
So Apoy was brought upon my love for pizza. So in fact, that pizza dough recipe that I'm using for Apoy, um, siguro I've changed it mga 100 times siguro. For the course of trial and error ko, 100 times siguro or more ko siya na that I've changed the recipe and tweaked the recipe. Um, and also, so my love for pizza in particular, and my dream to showcase what Filipino cuisine is all about. And I think the reasoning behind it is, I think that pizza is a great vessel for or to introduce what Filipino food is to people who have no idea what our cuisine is. So um, yeah, that's the reason why. And also the name Apoy was obviously because Apoy in Filipino means fire. In English it means fire. So um, and I use actually a wood fired pizza oven. So actually that was my wife who thought of the name. So she'll kill me if I don't say that.
Who's
um,
Filipina?
yes, she is. She is. We actually met in the Philippines before I moved to Australia. Before we moved to Australia.
Yeah. Say hello. What's her name?
It's Micah.
Micah, hi.
Hi,
Yes.
Micah. Nagbe-bake pa ba? Nagbe-bake? Or
Um, yes. So actually, because of this pandemic, also my wife created Manila Bites. Manila Bites.
Manila
She called.
Bites?
Yeah, she calls it Manila Bites.
What's that?
But it's it's her version of cinnamon rolls,
Mm.
crinkles, and cookies. So it's proved to be very successful. Actually, more successful than Apoy, I think. Um, and yun. Yes. So
I'll try to share it,
basic.
ah. So,
Okay.
Ito yung Manila Bites, no?
Yes.
Oh.
Manila
Yes. Yes.
Bites. Wow. In Melbourne. So this is not
Yeah.
a Manila business. Well, it's
No,
in
no.
Melbourne, no? All
Yes,
right.
it's in Melbourne. So, um, yeah, we're actually going to start adding more Filipino twists to the cinnamon rolls. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're thinking of doing a turon cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Um,
Ube.
Now, we actually have a lot of question for you, chef, because of
yes.
that. Because you are in Melbourne. But just to complete your story, you are now, you're still, yeah. Just to complete, you're now with what group?
So I'm now the executive chef of Sheraton, Melbourne, Sheraton Hotel in Melbourne. Just recently, I think I started with them February of this. No, sorry, July of this year.
Just
So,
wow, very
so
recent.
very recent.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm,
congratulations. But we're really
thank you.
interested on your Filipino culinary DNA and introducing it to in Australia, in
Yeah.
Melbourne. And Melbourne, ang sarap na mga pagkain sa Melbourne, no? Sobra
Yes.
sarap. And I'm really
Yes.
wondering, how are you able to compete there? Kasi ang sarap nung from the waffles to all the breads.
Mhm.
I remember I was raving about it. And then you guys getting into Filipino flavors. Kasi at the time when we visit, well, there's no
Yes.
Filipino flavors eh. How are you able to penetrate that market? And what was their first reaction?
So basically, the beauty about living in Melbourne is people here are more adventurous when it comes to food, and
Mm.
that's what they seek is something new. So I think it was a perfect opportunity for me to try or test the market in Australia because I live in Melbourne. Because arguably Melbourne is the um, food capital of Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so yun, basically at the start it was predominantly more of the Filipino Australians who wanted to try the pizza, and through word of mouth, it actually I got more um, sort of customers from
Mainstream.
um,
From friends.
mainstream or from so more of the non-Filipino customers.
Mm.
So it's still a small operation. Like I said, it's just from home. So what they do is they order. So I tend to post that I am doing Apoy on the weekend. Like for example, this Thursday, actually
Mhm.
today, I will be posting na I would be doing Apoy for Saturday and Sunday, and
Okay.
they can pre-order and stuff.
So it's a
Um,
weekly, it's a weekly special
it depends on how grueling my um li- my job is
schedule.
or my but I tend to do it. I would like to do it weekly, but unfortunately, yun nga, I'm tied with my primary job.
Are there a
Oh,
lot of Filipino ingredients around?
Yes, yes. So we have actually a lot of Filipino communities here in Melbourne
marami, di ba?
that some of them open like Filipino groceries or
Mm.
Filipino stores that it's easily accessible here, which is even the but what um
Batuan, oo,
Oh, but
meron.
one.
uh,
Oh.
It's
yeah,
available.
but
Tsaka may
it's in a
nagle-lechon
bottle
during the
form.
markets, di ba?
Yes,
May mga
yes.
nagle-lechon sa markets.
Lechon barbecue. So it's basically you don't feel as homesick because you can try eat the food that you're used to in the Philippines.
Okay. It's good.
Yung just related to that, the Manila Bites, paano niyo naman inattack yung flavor Filipino, flavor into the Manila Bites?
So Manila Bites actually originated when we were in Coffs Harbor. It started. We were doing the Thursday markets in Coffs Harbor. We were doing halo halo, but we make our um, all the ingredients from scratch, even the ube ice cream. So and then during the pandemic, my wife um, we wanted to help out the Filipino community um, in the Philippines. So my wife decided to sell cinnamon rolls as a fundraiser for the people affected by the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
in Manila. Or so, and it proved to be a recipe for success. So now until now we still do it, and there's been quite a following for her cinnamon rolls. That's why I say mas sikat siya kaysa sa akin.
I hope we can see her later. She can
Yeah,
say hello.
say hi. Come here.
Nagbe-bake ka, nagbe-bake
She's
ka.
shy daw, but she's not really shy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I'm
Congratulations.
baking.
It's okay.
Here.
Uh,
Good afternoon.
Congratulations for Manila Bites. Hi, good
Yeah.
afternoon.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. Kakaya. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's 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 shy, but she's not really
Actually,
shy.
it's so nice, both of you are working together in the
Mm.
Chef
same
Migo, I have a
industry.
question. For penetrating Australia, I know we have a lot of new chefs who wanted to penetrate Australia. Was it
Mhm.
really difficult? Was there discrimination at the start because you're Filipino? Um, what was the biggest challenge that you have to break through to get to the top of the culinary chain?
Well, I think it's the Australians actually are a very accepting community or people. So racism per se, I didn't really experience racism. I guess the main um, trial that I had when I first started living in Australia was because I was under a working visa. I truly felt that they, especially my first employer, I truly felt that I needed them more than they needed me. And I'm saying that because and I'm being honest here. My sous chef at the time actually was earning more than me. I was I was hired as their head chef, but you know I I was earning less than my sous chef. Um, so it was hard. It was difficult to accept, and also because of that mas mahal yung wage cost dito. Um, they tend to, like in the Philippines, let's say in a restaurant, you'll have like ten chefs running the kitchen because yung wage cost mas maliit. But here, since it's high, um, you'll have four instead of 10. So it was a bit difficult at first because you had to juggle a lot of tasks and stuff that I wasn't used to when I was working in the Philippines. But yeah, you know, with regards to racism, wala, no, not at all.
Okay. So that's good. So you just need to be really good at what you do to get to the top, in a sense.
Um, yes, and you also need, obviously you need to be passionate, and you need to take baby steps. Um, you know, here they will test you mentally and physically, so you need to be prepared.
May ma-challenge ba yan?
That's good. And Filipinos are very able to to live up to that standard.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Are there a lot of people there in Melbourne na Filipino in the culinary industry?
yes. Actually, I have two under me. I have two
Mm,
chefs, Filipino chefs under me. Um,
What's their
yes, and
name?
also
What's their name para shout out to
si
them?
si Mia and si John. Hello.
Hi.
Hope you guys are watching. But also, I also have a group of chefs, all Filipinos chefs here that are doing what I'm doing, to
Okay.
showcasing the food or Filipino cuisine, and making it our own in a sense. Like she's Chef Joff Hernandez. He's doing plant-based Filipino food, so it's
Wow.
more everything is plant-based, and he has a good following as well. It's called Lutong Lupa.
Lutong
okay.
lupa.
uh, and then um, we have Chef Jolo and Chef Yana. They are the ones behind Alsa Bakery. So, and then John Rivera, yung Carton Sorbetes. I think he's the most popular of all of us.
Ah,
He's doing the Filipino inspired gelatos.
like what
Um,
flavors?
so he has Sansrival, Turon, what else? Champorado
Wow.
with fish sauce caramel or patis caramel. Um, what else? Ube, halaya, um, brazo de Mercedes. So he has a lot actually,
That's
and all of them are good.
Matagal na rin yan? Matagal na? Or recent?
Yes, during the pandemic rin.
During the
oh,
So
pandemic. So
yeah.
everything, so all the went talaga was able to come out, no?
Mm.
All the
So we as Filipinos, we can't really um, not work. So we have to think of ways for us to earn money as well as keep ourselves busy.
and that's
It's
Oo.
that's
good for
nice.
our mental health as well.
They support each other, di ba?
Yes,
It's
we have a bayanihan culture here.
yeah, that's
Um,
Oo nga. So, this series is all about Filipino Culinary DNA. And what do you think is our Filipino Culinary DNA? Especially now you're there in Melbourne. How would you describe our culinary DNA?
maybe it's I guess it's our love for food. Everyone, like, all our gatherings are revolves around food. Everything revolves around food. Let's say if you're sick, you want something to sustain or to make you feel better, which is tinola or something like that. During the night outs, after gimmick, you what do? You eat after gimmick. Every Sunday you look forward to eating with the family. It's either going to the restaurants or you know going to your Lola's house and eat. So I think that's one of the reasons why Filipino chefs are sought after, is because it's in our DNA. Food is in our DNA,
did
and
the did the taste profile change? Like before, from salty in Manila, you became less salty, more umami. What's the predominant taste of I'm more interested in also the foreigners who taste Filipino food.
Mhm.
What's their comment aside from saying, "Hey, it's yummy"?
Oo, tsaka sa
Um,
Melbourne pa, 'di ba? Ang dami ng
Oo.
masarap na pagkain. I'm really curious, yeah.
I think it's one of the main or the most comments that I've heard was it's very flavorful. I guess because Filipinos, like any Asian country, has a good mix of salty, sweet, sour,
Yeah.
spicy sometimes. So and most of them, they're not used to that because as you know, their food is good, but for me it's quite, since I'm all about flavor, Filipinos are all about flavor. It tends to be quite bland. So
Mm,
and for it it's a good change for them, I guess. So yun.
yeah, that's nice.
Galing, no? Wait, shout out line to Will Mahusay. Congrats.
Yeah,
Uh,
she will. I will. He's the owner of Cebu Lechon in Sydney.
Oh
oo,
wow,
yes.
Um,
I
Marami
heard
may
about that. Yeah.
oo, yeah.
yeah, so he was one of my guinea pigs when I first started Apoy. He visited us here in Melbourne, and then I've hosted a dinner to to let him try what Apoy was. And yun, he thoroughly enjoyed it, or baka mabait lang siya talaga na hindi niya no, but he did enjoy it.
Anton, can I ask something? Do you think
Go.
that Filipino cuisine is already on its way, or has it arrived? Like just like Thai cuisine or Japanese, or are we on the way or not yet?
I think we are still a long way to go
Oh, okay.
with
Okay, why?
and because when people think of Thai cuisine, they know what it is, and when they think of Filipino cuisine, it's you know there's a lot of versions, like let's say adobo. um you know my
I've
version
never
of adobo is very different from, I guess, Anton's version or Tita Nancy's version of adobo.
yeah. The
um
hot topic, the hot topic.
yes, I might
Yeah.
get shot because of what I said, but there's, and I think it starts with us. It starts with all the Filipinos. I mean, it's not about um, how Filipinos are na when you give when you eat in a restaurant, like a Filipino restaurant, it's more of criticism. It's more of, they say, oh, mas masarap yung sa akin dito or
Oo,
sa
'di
lolo
ba?
ko dito.
Sa
It's
Houston
it's
ganyan din. All around like that.
Everywhere.
yeah, I guess it's us changing that mentality.
Yeah.
We're not here to belittle um our fellow Filipinos. We're here, we need to uplift them
Yes.
and support them. And
Agree.
I think that's how to change or to uplift our cuisine is through our barrio, through our um, community,
Yeah.
and everyone needs to play that part. Everyone needs to be the voice to say how good the Filipino food is, or how good this restaurant is. And I think because of that, we will be able to um, be on par with other Asian cuisines, or even be more than them.
Maybe it's also a way of presenting the food that it will look beautiful, not all
Yes,
brown, not all greasy.
correct.
Oo nga.
Yes.
Does
Diba?
that really matter, chef?
Yeah, for me, kasi what happens is when you're presented with food, you eat with your eyes
Yes.
first. So visually, it will impact it really impacts the, you know, how you perceive that dish. But the most important siguro talaga is the taste for me. Like, even if it doesn't, it's not presented well, but when you eat it, um, if it's really good, then um, you know that you've made your point, or you've um, you know
Mhm. Oo,
What are the,
parang malalasahan nila.
what do you think is the favorite food of the non-Filipinos there among the classics like adobo, sinigang, tinola, chocolate soup?
adobo. I think the chocolate soup is down their list. I guess it's obviously adobo is what they are, um, what we are known for here in Melbourne,
In
and
Melbourne.
also um, the sinigang. So adobo and sinigang is what they've known for. But um, like in Hilton, for example, I had a sort of like a Filipino fusion menu in Hilton, with where I um, the sisig there was the big seller. The
Ooh,
sisig,
Ah,
because so how I served the sisig was, I put it in a tostada, so it was sort of like a tortilla chip. So it was round like this with the sisig on top, garlic sauce, fresh salsa, and calamansi if I had calamansi, but lime if I didn't have lime. So like what Chef Nancy was saying, that um, you know when you present the food like that, people would say, "Wow, okay, I want to try it,"
yeah.
and yeah, so which they did, and they loved it. Another dish that was very popular there was the chicken barbecue, with banana ketchup.
Ah,
So, that's a classic Filipino barbecue marinade with that banana ketchup glaze.
uh-huh.
But the main difference I did was I partnered it with Brussels sprouts, which they are familiar with,
mm,
Uh-huh.
and corn puree. So you had,
puree.
yeah, so you had that bit of that sweet sort of corn flavor that go went well, actually surprisingly went well with our barbecue.
Mm.
So yeah, and then the Brussels sprouts, you had that bitterness. So it was a play of that five scent, like taste profiles.
So, Anton, I guess one success story or success that Chef Migo shared is that sisig can be a good entry dish when you're in a foreign land, di ba?
Oo
Because
nga,
Yes.
sisig nga, oo.
sisig, it's really kind of popular even here. But
Mm.
I wanted to ask you was name some of the flavors or the variances you have in your pizza that combines Filipino with Oz.
Oo.
Um,
Um, Chef,
so
sandali lang. We'll shout out to ano. So Will said deliver ka daw sa Sydney. And then Lynn Razon said you're doing a good job, Mix. So Lynn
yeah, that's my
Castillo.
hi mom. Hi
Oh,
mom.
hi,
Oh,
Mom.
hi.
My biggest
Wow,
fan.
oh no. Nakaka-proud naman talaga what
Yeah,
you have done
Yeah,
in Melbourne. No?
yeah,
Anyway, so going back to Nancy's
the
question.
pizza.
yeah.
What's your most
So
popular selling pizza?
surprise. It's not surprising, but the sisig pizza is
Alam mo nga, Nance, no? The sisig talaga, no?
Oh,
Galing nga.
yeah.
oh,
So for those who want to start a business abroad, maybe you can take the word of Chef Migs na
mm,
try it as sisig. Diba?
Bakit?
yeah,
Because of the
but
umami
not
ba?
a
Because
pizza,
of the
ha?
texture?
Wala
What's
lang,
about the
just kidding.
sisig? What do you think, Chef? What's about the
Um,
sisig?
I think it's yeah, it's very umami. Like
Yeah.
um it's and it's different. I mean, the it's very fatty. Um
Ito.
so so it coats your mouth and makes you want to eat more.
Uh,
Um
uh,
but because of that calamansi or that lemon or lime or citrus that you put, it cuts through that, and
Yeah.
it's just another it adds another depth of flavor to the sisig,
Do they
and
know
that
it's the
crunchiness
face?
of
Do they know it's the face? They don't put
um
kadiri
Oo,
too?
alam ba nila?
I just say because when they ask what part of the pork or the pig it
Yeah.
comes from, I just say, oh, it's the cheek and the jowl. So I
Okay.
don't I
Oh
don't
yeah, the jowl, they're familiar, no? The jowls
yeah,
are popular.
yeah. So I don't include that there's ears or the snout is there.
Mhm.
It's just the cheeks.
Galing, Nance, no? So
Yeah,
I'm learning a
actually,
lot. I think in our search for the Filipino Culinary DNA, common across that for us to promote Filipino food, we have to, help each other out, no? Don't
Yes,
criticize. Walang crab
yes,
mentality. Push.
yes,
And this is common across, no? The diaspora. And
yeah.
second, the umami is really, and particularly sisig nga, is getting to be a good entry point. Aside from adobo kasi and sinigang is kinda, ano ba, parang
Andyan na.
standard fare, parang
Yeah.
gano'n, di ba?
yeah,
Sisig kasi is really out of this world for a lot of the
yes.
cuisine. And especially Melbourne na maraming masarap na pagkain. For them to really like sisig is something else. No? What else? What else, chef? Is it kasi there's a lot of chefs here in Manila, a lot of restaurateurs.
Mhm.
All of us are trying to, sometimes we think na yun nga na our efforts are not enough, we need to do a lot of things, and as you said, it will take a lot more for Filipino cuisine to be there. What else do we need to do, like in our ingredients ba, or we've mentioned presentation already. Do you think there's an opportunity, especially back here in Manila, to improve our ingredients or make it available across? Pero parang available naman yata lahat
Oh,
yung
Mm.
mga
available
ingredients
na.
natin. So, what do you think
Mm.
in terms of ingredients?
I think it's more of in Manila. It's more of familiarizing yourself with what's in season first, and what our farmers actually are doing. Like my my brother-in-law's family actually owns a farm in Pangasinan, I think, and they are doing organic farming, supplying to the restaurants and stuff. So and actually, it's good because there's a lot of young farmers that are starting that movement there in the Philippines. Na the love for our produce, like for example, our chocolates as well. They're you know their um, chocolates are getting popular abroad. So there's a lot of things in the Philippines that we need to be proud of. And one thing I've learned here in Australia is they love their local ingredients.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, oo nga.
and I think we need to adapt that mentality in the Philippines as well. Is enough of us saying that mas masarap itong steak na to because it's from Australia or from US. I mean, no, um, mahal lang siya, pero mas there's a lot of like there's wagyu farmers or cattle raisers in Manila already that they're starting, and I think we need to support that as well. Um,
Did you hear of
yun.
that meat? Alam mo yan, Anton? Yung Batangas Angus, Batangus.
Oo. Oo nga eh.
you know how Filipinos are. But I know Australia is very strict about bringing in
Yes.
things from another country into Australia, right? Not even
Mm,
leaves, not plants, no nothing.
yes.
Yeah, but how come they have durian and they had our mango?
I think it's if it's import, it's okay. But if you actually bring it yourselves, it's not because they can't control it. Maybe you know, I might get like seeds of calamansi and just uh,
Oh, okay. You were able to
plant
plant?
it. No, no, no. There's
It's
actually
not allowed yet.
calamansi. No, there's
Mhm.
calamansi plants here already that
Oh,
I bought. So I have a stash of calamansi here.
okay, that's good. All right. Yeah.
Um,
Galing, galing.
Any more hello there from your friends? Lapa.
Oo. Yes.
natulog tulog pa yata.
Okay, but now Anton, let's ask him. So this is all yes, good news. What were the challenges that you had with regards to your career there? You
I
said
guess the
there's no
challenge.
more racism. So
Yeah.
that racism was prevalent maybe in the 70s, 80s, 60s.
Mm,
But the millennials now are not like that. They're very
yes.
global. So
Mm.
that's not the challenge. So what
Mm.
Oo.
aside,
Anong challenge nga?
yeah.
Oo.
I guess the challenges we had was as a family, we didn't have the support because it was just me and my wife here. We didn't know anyone. We didn't have family here, so homesickness was a big challenge for us.
It's real. It was
Yes,
real.
Mm,
homesick. Yes, homesick is real. But as you start to broaden your social um, connections, then it's a bit easier now. Like um, also, I guess when we first went to Australia, when we first lived in Australia, we were in a regional or rural part of Australia, so we weren't used to it. It was too quiet. There was nothing happening. That's why we like, for example, 4 o'clock pa lang sarado na lahat ng
oh yeah.
ng
Uh,
mall.
Mhm.
Sorry, lahat ng mall, isang
Yeah.
mall. Um, so ayun, it was a big adjustment for us. And there was no good food. Like in Manila, when you want something, when you're in the mood for, let's say, Mexican or kebabs, you just know where to go. But
yeah.
in like the regional parts of Australia, there's nothing like that. So me as a chef, it was difficult because you know it was difficult for me to create what I wanted to create at work because they weren't used to that. That's also partly the reason why I moved to Melbourne is because Melbourne, like I said, people here are more adventurous and
Oo.
they embrace change. So yun. So I'm in a better place here, career wise.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. We'll say hi lang to your friends. Jojo Castillo said, galing, Migo.
Hi
Hi,
Jojo.
tita.
And of course, Trina Razon. Go Chef.
Hi, yeah, my sister.
All
Ah,
right.
right. Galing.
Anton, you said you love the food in Melbourne. Baka Migo knows what your favorite food was all about.
Hindi, ang dami nun eh. There's this
Mm,
waffle place. There's a lot of the cafes kasi are really good.
yes,
And
and the
but usually
coffee.
they serve kasi what's seasonal eh. What's really good
Mm,
season. So the menu changes but the coffee is really good. And then
yes,
you have the sun ano ba the markets, 'di ba?
Yes.
Wow.
The
Oo, grabe.
markets in Melbourne,
That's what I
grabe.
miss. Oo.
Oo, di
And
The
ba?
and
Sunday markets or
Oh,
even
it's
the
yeah,
Queen
really close.
Victoria
The
Market.
markets are closed during this time. Pag mga ganito.
Yes. Oo. Because we're actually not allowed to venture out of the house. We're only allowed to go out of the house for 5 reasons, like exercise. Sorry, I forgot. Like exercise,
Physical
work, groceries, vaccine, and I forgot the fifth.
Pero ito yung ano, 'di ba? Lockdown level 4, tama ba? In
Yes,
Australia.
yes, yes. Level 4.
all right.
Mm.
So you aside from going back to the pizza, Anton, may I ask again what other flavors of the
Flavor.
pizza?
Well, so I talked about the sisig being my
Yeah.
top seller. I think my second best seller is the tocino.
Oh.
So the tocino obviously is your sweet and a bit salty. So I partnered the tocino with pineapple. So
Mm-hmm.
fresh pineapple, not canned pineapple. Fresh pineapple with red onions that I marinated in bagoong balayan.
Wow.
So that's my sort of like my anchovy um
I'm
as
looking.
taste to it.
Uh-huh.
So and then I've added Vietnamese mint just to give that freshness and that added flavor to it as well.
That's nice. Looks ano, sarap, Anton. Yeah. And you know,
Hindi.
Filipinos, they will still look for that little sweetness of the tocino.
Yes,
Hindi
yes.
color. What's the cheese?
Uh-uh.
What's your white ano? What's the
That's
cheese?
fior di latte. So it's cow's milk. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
fresh. It's like fresh mozzarella, but
Uh-huh.
it's a bit drier than the mozzarella. So the melting it melts better.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Wow. Chef, yung pineapple okay lang sila? Kasi there's of course a debate here, no? Pineapple good or
Yes.
not, diba? O,
Yeah.
what's the reaction to that?
Um, wala naman so far because if I probably put it as like a Hawaiian version of the pizza, siguro that's when they will revolt. But since my take is it's Filipino inspired, so I think I can get away with it a bit if I'm adding weird ingredients to the pizza. But just as long as it works, I guess,
Oo.
and they're happy.
Are Australians still scared of eating raw things, raw fish? Because I
Some
remember they were making sushi, but they wanted the shrimp to be cooked. Not, I mean, sorry, the fish had to be cooked.
Yeah, some are still like that. Like some
Yeah.
even you can't serve them whole fish
No,
because
no,
they are
no.
no ulo or no heads
Yeah.
and stuff. But
Oo.
Mm.
but they're changing their ways slowly. Like in particular in Melbourne, I can't talk about other parts of Australia, but in Melbourne they are, like I said, more open. So they will try anything.
You must also be enjoying the wines there.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. Um, we actually, before the lockdown, we were in Mornington Peninsula where there's vineyards and I like my cider, so alcoholic cider. So
Yeah, cider guy.
there's a cider distillery there that I like. So yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I mean, Melbourne, anywhere you go, there's truffles here already
Oo
in
nga, yeah.
Victoria. So what else? One in a particular season, like June or July, me and my friends actually go out the forest and hunt for pine mushrooms and stuff like
Wow.
that. So yeah, we are spoiled here. Um, you know, those are things that we can't do in the Philippines. But
Is there
if
room for, sorry, is
sorry,
there room for more Filipinos to come to
oh yes,
Melbourne?
definitely, especially
Oo.
chefs. We can't
Oh, good.
not have enough chefs. There's no
Mahirap
such thing
ba?
as
Mahirap ba you
um
need a sponsor, no? You need a sponsor.
yes. So I think they're making it more difficult for foreign workers to work and live in um like urbanized cities. They want them to work and live in more regional parts of Australia because it's I guess it's too um, for lack of a better word, crowded in the
Uh-huh.
major cities already. Which I think is good because
Yeah,
after a few years, naman you can move. So
yeah.
Oo.
it's just like that's what I did. So it took me what 6 years for me to move to a big city. Um,
6 years. Okay.
6 years. So
So you're permanent resident na. How long ba
I
permanent resident or
permanent citizen na.
citizen
So
na? Okay.
yes.
So from
2 years
working
ago, I
visa
think.
to PR to citizen, paano ba 'yon?
So
How
yeah,
does it work?
so working visa for 4 years working visa, and then I applied for permanent residency, and then after 2 years of permanent residency, I applied for citizenship. But I guess the downside of living in Australia uh, as a working visa holder is every year the rules change. So um, it's like it's playing Russian roulette. You don't know what the changes are every year. So yun. Um, I was a victim of that when usually before after a year I think or sorry after 2 years you can apply for permanent residency already, but they've changed it to a much longer time before right before I could apply. So yun. But the beautiful thing about that is you're already in Australia, so it's just be patient, I guess.
Oh, that's good. That's encouraging words. Like, if you want, parang you gave a startup tips like first try sisig, two make bayanihan, three don't mind going to the suburban areas first, regional, and magtiis ka muna doon and find
Mm.
Mm.
for yourself, and then go to the big time later, like what you did. Because
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah, sorry.
Filipinos have so much talent that they can adjust anywhere in the world.
Mm. Yeah, and a lot of employees here in Australia actually want to hire Filipinos because we are known for being hardworking,
Yeah,
um,
good.
loyal,
Hello.
loyal to a degree,
Uh-huh.
um, and we're known for just saying yes to our um, bosses just as long as we can do it. And I guess that's a
Yes.
good trait for us. Na we are hardworking because you need that in Australia. You need that in Australia to survive and to achieve whatever dreams you have here in abroad, because obviously it's harder because you don't have the support. So mental toughness is a good attribute for you to have.
When you say mental toughness, what does that mean? Like when you're homesick, you don't you try to divert yourself into other things.
Yes. um you know um I guess it's more of when you're lonely, you think of other ways for you to to stop that boredom. Um, or the good thing about us now is we have technology behind us already. Um, we have, if you're lonely, just go
Go to
FaceTime with
Awesome
you
Planet.
with your go to Awesome Planet, watch all the episodes, or if you're lonely, want to call your mom or your dad, it's easy. Just go to FaceTime, and it's like it's obviously different, but during you can imagine during before the internet, you have to buy those call cards and you have to use
Yeah,
them for um, and call them over the phone.
yeah.
You can't see their faces and stuff. um, and also because um, being a chef, it's very cutthroat. I mean, um,
It is, yeah, it is.
That's why.
and it's very demanding.
That's my
Also,
next question. How
sorry,
will a female Filipina chef make it there?
that's a very
Is
good
there a
question.
gender bias for female chefs, especially Filipinas?
I think not. Like in my kitchen, Mia in particular, she is very talented and very strong, a strong-willed woman, a typical Filipina.
Uh-huh.
Um, I guess, and also in my kitchen, there's no such thing as gender. Like
Okay.
I guess it's in most kitchens in Australia. I don't see you as a male or a female. I see you as a chef.
All right.
Um, and you know everything that I ask my male chefs to do, I believe that the female chef can do. Um, and sometimes they're actually more talented than um, other male chefs that I've come across during my culinary career.
That's good.
So there's nothing stopping female chefs from dominating the kitchen. Gone are the days where um, the chef or the kitchen is a man's world. I don't believe that at all. I mean, it's a chef's world. It's not about gender. It's about your talent. It's about your passion. Uh,
Okay. That's good.
yeah.
That's good to know for all those listening to you now
Mm.
who have plans to go to Australia.
Galing.
Yeah.
We're so inspired. Thank you for sharing all your insights. You have a final question, Nancy?
Well, now that you're there, do you plan to come back and to Manila and do your stuff here, there in Manila? From what you learned, fusing, or maybe I have a better question. What do you plan to do more of fusing Filipino cuisine with Australian? Did you have any plans, like maybe three new flavors that you'd like to create, or secret?
Uh, it's the flavors in particular is it's a work in progress, so it's a secret at the moment.
Okay.
Um, but I'm actually launching a mushroom salpicao pizza
Hmm.
for this weekend. So it's
Nice.
um, so fingers crossed. People would. I'm leaning towards more of the vegetarian because the only vegetarian I have is the margarita with
Ah,
quesong puti.
oh,
So I make my own quesong puti and stuff like that. So, um, but my main plan for the future is probably taking Apoy to the next level. In saying that it might be a food truck
Mm-hmm.
that I can, or as a standalone pizza place. But for now, I'm happy with what we have at the moment. I'm extremely lucky and happy to be part of Sheraton, um, and Yeah, but for Manila, we are in talks of hopefully putting Apoy branch there.
That's good.
So hopefully,
Yeah.
mom, if
Wow,
you're
that's
listening,
good.
Mom,
um,
please send money.
Listen, wow, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
pizza
good.
is very popular here, no?
hmm,
From Crosta Pizza to Gino's. So marami mga local
yeah,
concepts. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Genos is it's he's my batchmate in Ateneo.
Wow.
Si Jeets Templo. So yeah, Geno's is very very good pizza.
but recently also Crosta Pizza, parang Detroit style pizza na ganun din.
Okay,
It's really good. So yeah, I mean Apoy could make
hopefully.
and so si Tita is watching. Random na funding. But yeah, it's nice, no? Like Chef Miko in Sydney
Mm,
started to do a donut shop, di ba? Parang
yes,
donut
Yes,
shop.
yeah.
yes,
And
it's
you
doing
guys are
quite
doing
well.
pizza. It's
Oh, it's I
really.
think it's his birthday today as well. Happy birthday, chef.
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Birthday siya.
yeah, I hope he's look watching. So
Ang
you have
galing.
to really be carrying the Filipino flag always, that with pride. In fact,
Yes.
literally have a Filipino flag somewhere to show off. Yeah.
Yes. I
Diba?
mean, yeah, that's one of my dreams as a child growing up. Because as you know, 7 years, 9 years old, palang, I really wanted to be a chef already, and one of my dreams
Wow.
was and my mom was my biggest inspiration. So I from then on palang, when I was still in CCA, I really wanted to elevate and to introduce Filipino food abroad.
So ano
Um,
kayo, Manila based kayo? Your roots are
yes.
Manila. So your culinary DNA roots would be Tagalog.
Well, my dad, my
Yeah, saan ba
papa
yung
is
rason?
from Pampanga,
Ah,
so San
Parang
Fernando, Pampanga, and then my mom is from Batangas.
oh wow. Good good
Yeah,
combination.
good combination.
Good.
yeah.
Kaya naman
So
pala Kapampangan na naman eh.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm a
me Batangas
Kapampangan.
din.
So sisig. That's why Kapampangan, and then Nilaga or Bulalo
Yeah,
from
okay.
Batangas.
Good.
Batangas. Ang galing ah.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, Chef Migo. Siguro some final message lang for a lot of people. I know you've been dreaming since you're 9 years old and what, 30 years after, tama ba? 30
Yes,
years
tama.
after
Grabe.
you are where you are right now. Siguro some life lessons lang that you learned to inspire other people
Yeah.
and and where you want to go. Some final message.
Uh, I guess it's if you have a dream, don't hold on to it. Never falter. Just there's a lot of trials on the way, but if you really believe in yourself, if you really have the passion, and you really want to succeed, um, you will. It's all in the mind. It's all about how you focus and your mindset on how and set up plans and set up goals um, that is achievable every year or every moment. Get a checklist of things that you want to achieve for that day, for that week, for that year, and start with that until you reach that goal of yours. I mean, you know, as humans, if you reach a particular goal, you'll have another goal in mind. So, um, you know, just be you, be yourself, and also do not step on people on the way to your goal, because that's not how success is. You need to reach success together, or you need to reach success with working with people and not taking advantage of them.
That's good.
That's good. Pero I know that's hard to do in actuality. Especially in
Yes,
the culinary field, you have to move from one kitchen to another. You have
yes,
to, climb the ladder. That's really hard.
yeah. Don't burn bridges. Yeah.
And maybe you can add also a spiritual level also to your everyday, you know,
Hmm. I
especially
mean,
now with the lockdown, having a spiritual destination, a spiritual belief
yeah.
to, especially with your children, you know, because I was thinking of that because you're alone there. I mean, you're a
Mhm.
sole family and you have no relatives there, so you gotta start a spiritual thing.
Yeah. Well, everything that I've accomplished, everything that I will accomplish, and all the trials and tribulations I had in my life, it's all because of God. God um, gives you those problems because He knows that you can solve them,
Yeah,
and with Him by your side.
yeah,
Um, hmm,
Galing, galing.
right.
And we're proud of you. And of course, your
Yeah,
mom must have been really proud of you from where you are, no? Seeing it for the last 30 years, how
yes.
you're in
Yeah.
Melbourne.
From the sakit ng ulo to
So, do they visit you there or have they visited you there?
yes, yes. Not in Melbourne. The last time they visited me was when I was in Coffs Harbour. Um, but that was
Ah,
a long time ago. We were planning to set up something, but because of the pandemic, it actually got pushed back. But hopefully, eventually, we will see each other again.
okay. Hi,
wow, galing.
mom.
Hi,
Yeah.
ma'am. And yeah, I'm really so inspired, Nancy. Kasi nga, so when we were traveling, we went around, no, from Paris to Europe to everywhere. But Melbourne lang talaga rin yung, Paris is a culinary city. A lot of, the Eastern European have really good food. But Melbourne, ibang klase yung
Yeah,
Diba?
Melbourne. The food, the ingredients, iba talaga yung vibe lang.
Vibe.
If we
Totoo.
were to migrate nga out
yep.
somewhere, it will be Melbourne also.
Oh,
I
we'll welcome you with open arms, Anton. Don't
Pero
worry.
mahirap na daw pumunta eh.
actually, when people ask me where should my son or my daughter study, and I tell them go to Australia because Australia is a natural food laboratory by itself.
Yes.
Or New
Yes.
Zealand, you have everything fresh and beautiful. So it's good to experiment with everything. So
Mm.
you're in the right place.
Yes, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to be here in
All right,
Australia.
that is good.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you
to all
very
watching
much.
on the live stream. And for those people watching on the replay, guys, please share this video to your family and friends who would be inspired, especially to those yung man nagsa-start no, in their culinary career. I think the post-pandemic world will have a lot of opportunities for
Mm.
the culinary hospitality industry. Di ba sabi nila, there'll be a revenge or, people will really go out and really enjoy. No? So, but I know it will be tough and thank you for setting the example. And we're proud of all the chefs who are making a name, you
Yes.
know, in all over the world. Ang galing, galing, galing. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
And thank you and maraming salamat. Nancy, thank you. All right.
God bless
Thank you,
you.
God
Thank
bless you
you.
guys. Bye-bye. Can you do a short film?